Yeah, guys. So this will be the start of part 12. What's changed? I've been busy and there's a few bits I've been doing. So one of the things I have done is replaced all the blue piping, which is the freshwater piping that goes from the tank to the pump to the tap, which is also a instant water heater. So that's all done. I did have some problems. The shore flow water pump I had, obviously it was old. I think the production date was like 91 or something like that. I don't know how codes work. I think it was. But anyway, it was knackered. I took it all apart, and it was all corroded inside. I did free it up, but I put it back together, and it started spinning and stopped. So I kept doing that. So I ended up buying another one. I bought a cheaper one. It's only £9, I think it was, on eBay, just as an emergency stopgap for now. Obviously I can replace it over the winter months. Boy, was that a faff to fit. So the shore flow connectors, I ended up getting some screw-in connectors for it. Don't fit this other pump. You'll know which one it is if you've seen it. It's tiny. I went to the plumbing merchants to try and get the connectors and stuff like that. They had nothing of that size. 15mm was too small. Obviously 22 was too big, and it had nothing in between that would fit. So what I ended up doing was, just take an example of this. So where, say this was the pump, this is about the same diameter roughly. It was threaded, so what I ended up having to do was use a Dremel and Dremel it all the way around until it was smooth. And then what I did then is just warm this up and then stretch it straight over, and then I used the Jubilee clip straight over that. Now I haven't done the water test yet to see if it's all watertight, the system, just purely because I've got shit everywhere. Pardon my language, but it's the truth. The van is looking like a bomb city. Anyway, so I've got a water test to do at some point, but no doubt I'll probably just tighten up Jubilee clips or resitting things. So taking the old water pipe off the freshwater tank, I had a problem there as well. So I had a rusted Jubilee clip on it. It wasn't this pipe, it was like a clear with like a mishmashy mesh fabric inside it. But obviously it had gone all manky and old. But the Jubilee clip had rusted. So I tried unscrewing it, it didn't unscrew. So I ended up getting a pair of pipe grips. Put it on there and thought if I just wiggle it side to side it might snap. Well, something did snap. The actual plastic bit that goes onto the tank connector snapped off. And I was like, obviously cursing and everything else. So I pulled the pipe out from underneath, and I put the pipe grips in it. I was just like, yeah, I mean, it can't be. It's literally almost rusted through. So I went like that, and it just came straight off. And I was like, you son of a. Anyway, so I had to go get I think it's called the pt12 connector. Your tool station sell them. Cost me, I think it was about £3.50. So they are push fit on one side, but they're just smooth push fit with a little recessed bit inside it, and then the other side is threaded. So what I ended up doing was using a step drill bit to drill out where the old bit broken off, to make it slightly bigger, but obviously not to the same diameter. And then I end up using this brass bit, and then just sitting there with a pair of adjustables, because they're quite a big nut on them, and just keep going, and eventually a bit, and then done all the way up. Now that is watertight because obviously I filled the tank up. More on that. So that is watertight, and obviously then I heated this up and pushed it straight over, and that's good. And that isn't leaking, so I know that bit is because I filled the tank up. Tried to. Well, majority of it. So when I was fitting the seatbelt frame, obviously I've replaced the outside fillable bit, because the old one had just an emergency cap in it. So I ended up buying one online, which had a lockable cap. Took the old one off, so the pipe size was the same, but if that's the holder, where the recess bit is inside comes down as quite a long bit, whereas the new one I bought comes in and drops, and it's only very short. So I end up pulling the pipe which is like a corrugated pipe. It's only a soft plastic one. I'm gonna have to replace it. But I think I ended up splitting it because when I filled it up the next day, there was water like running everywhere. So there was that. And then to top it off, that same day, I thought with the seatbelt frame that I put in, I thought, you know what, I'll put an extra mounting in there, like a bit. So I've gone through the chassis, but now what I've done is I've used some high tensile steel threaded rod and gone straight away down with an L piece, like a shallow L piece, on the bottom of the chassis rail, and then just squash the whole lot together. But yeah, it's when I was drilling through the top, there's no point drilling through the bottom because you know what I mean. So I measured it underneath, roughly where it needs to be from the original mounting points, like from the old ones, and then drilled straight down through the metal, and then straight through the woods. Wood's easier. Not going to sit there for ages pushing up. So I ended up drilling down straight through the fresh water pipe. Now when I say straight through, I went through the top half of it, so the bottom half was still intact. So obviously when I put the threaded bar through, I was like, where the hell was this bar gone? So I ended up noticed that it was actually behind the above the water pipe. So I ended up pulling the rod back up, moving the water pipe down, and then get the missus to push the rod down. Just helping them, you know what I mean? So it was an absolute faff. So I do need to replace the pipe. It was too short, it split, and now it's got a hole in it. A job for another day. I can still fill it up, but just about 50% of the water disappears over the floor. But at least some gets in the thing. It's only for washing up and washing your hands and stuff like that. Obviously going to be using bottled water for drinking. The tank was filled with, so I did flush the tank out. So there's a sump plug on it. So I undone that. This is when I replaced, when I snapped the bit off. So when I drilled it out, before I put the pt12 bit in, I actually flushed it through to get any loose bits of plastic out and stuff like that, and there was a lot of gunk in there, not just what I drilled, but a lot of old remnants of stuff. So but yeah, that's cool. So that's done. Trying to think what else I've been up to. That was the main one. Yeah, just tidying up inside, just doing little bits, fitting the radio. So now this radio has a constant live, and that's it. There's no ignition live. So what I've had to do, I replaced the ignition barrel yesterday for a new ignition barrel. Even though there was a new one fitted, there was only one key. Now I spoke to my auntie and she said that she doesn't know where, I mean, she believes that there's only that set of keys, but it's a new ignition barrel, there's got to be another set of keys. So anyway, I've changed all the locks in the doors. They were an absolute pig, especially since the passenger one I didn't have a key for, so trying to get that out was an absolute, yeah. So yeah, anyway, replaced both the lock barrels. So I've got two keys for the two lock barrels, and I replaced the ignition barrel. So whilst all the surround was off around the column, I put the battery on and then looked for an ignition live, which I found. So I tapped into that to go for the radio. So now I've got an ignition live for the radio to come on, and the permanent live that was originally in there is for the memory for the radio. Now the radio is crap. I do need to invest in another one, but for now I've got a radio. There's no cage for it, so it just literally sits there and flops around. But yeah, I'll tell you what, let's go and have a look. Right. Sorry about the garden, it's an absolute mess. So that's one thing you'll probably notice is ready. That's right, I fitted central locking. So let me just sit here on the step. Okay, so hold that open. So what I've done is I fitted electric windows. So this is a universal kit. I'll explain all the workings in it. This is why I left the door cards off so you guys can see. One thing I had to do was repair both the glass mount holders that go on the rod. They were like full of rust and falling apart, and this one was actually held on by duct tape. So that's them to clean out here. There's the old rubber. I think there's like a rubber gasket that goes around the glass. It's falling apart. So yeah, get that last bits out. Completely forgot I left that in there, so that completely fell apart. Anyway, so let's keep that. That's where yep, it goes on the dashboard. Anyway, so is that it down there? A couple of little bits flopping around. It's going to make a rattle. There we go. I'll pick that up later. I'll pick that up. The rest of it I'll pick up later. So, electric windows. So I've mounted these here with these brackets, and then obviously 10mm bolt here. Plenty of clearance from the glass, and obviously down here completely away from the glass as well. So there is that. All the wiring is through here. Now this is the plug for the switches, and the solenoid. Tell you what, I'll take you off the camera. Okay, this is better. So the solenoid I fitted here. So if anyone wants to fit central locking on their vans, this is how you do it. Well, this is how I did it. So obviously on the up position and then the open position here, I've gone, so this is where the mounting point is for the channel for the window. So the reason why I've done it there is so it actually sits and clears the window, the glass, because this is quite chunky. And then obviously what I've done is to drill two little holes, one here and one here, so that is sitting slightly at an angle, but it doesn't affect it at all. So that is that. Obviously the wires are just tucked behind here, obviously taped to the metal, and then the electric windows are here. So I had some of this foam padding here just to stop any rattle because I can't get a mount on the other side. So yeah, and it's fine. I mean, it's completely clear of any glass. We're trying to get you in there. Completely clear of any glass. The windows are just, the glass is just sat there. Wires are just sat there, but they're tucked around this little bar here, which is what I've used one of the mounting points. And obviously they're not bolted to that. Wiring comes up. Obviously a fed new wire through for the speakers because the old one was deteriorated. Now this was the biggest pain in the rear there was. I'll try and hold you straight for this. So this is where the winder was. Now it stuck out quite far, and I didn't want the mechanism on this side of the door. Sorry. Whoop, move you back. I didn't want the mechanism on this side of the door, as in the universal one. So what I've done is I undone the two bolts, little 10mm, and they're only so big. And actually, in fact, I used them here, and then just put them through this way and put a nut on this side. So I'm not wasting the nuts. I put two longer ones here. So I'll just try and. Can you see? I can't really see from this angle. There it goes. Okay, sorry about that. I just found the torch. So there's two. So in the kit you get two little spacers. You get a small one, and then you get a larger one. So what I ended up doing was putting them together and then taping them. So that allowed me to have enough clearance. So what I did is I push this back with my finger. So you have to sort of like twist it like sort of that way unless you want to take the whole thing off. So you twist it that way, then you put the bigger adapter on, and then you put the connector on for the motor because it comes up as a single shaft, and then from this, I don't know, you put these two bolts in, which are longer, 10mm, but they clear there, so you can probably see that in there. And then this center one you put in, which joins that one and that one. So, and obviously a little screw in there just to hold the two together. So that's how you do that. Now the reason why I've done that is now when the door comes here, it should sit pretty much flush. And in doing that, I'm actually going to try and mount the switch over it so you can't see that at all. Because the switch body sits on the door card itself. So yeah, that's that. Like I said, I hope it helps people. Oh yeah, just show you the lock inside as well. So, I just sat with the handbrake. So, the solenoid comes here. Now from here to the original mechanism is quite a distance. So what I did is I actually used two. So I bought a 4-door kit, not a 2-door, a 4-door. So I got 2 spare solos. The price was the same. They did exactly the same thing, apart from there's 2 extra splitters running off the wires that go to the rear doors. And to be fair, I actually used the 2 front doors and obviously the single rear to the splitter. The passenger front wasn't actually long enough to go behind all the dash work through the door and over to that side, because that side's done as well. So I ended up taking off the passenger side one off the wiring loom and using one of the rear doors. They're all slave ones anyway, so this is the main one you can't mess around with. This one you can't mess around with because it's actually all the different wires. This one's actually, like, I believe you can undo this one with the key, whereas the other one, it just does that one door. So yeah, I used the passenger rear, the middle one for that side, so not the longest one, and the passenger front I took off, and the longest passenger rear I took off as well. So if you do buy the 4-door kit, that's what I had to do to get the extra length and wire, otherwise you're going to have to make a join and make it longer. So anyway, what I did is I used one of the rods here, this way up, obviously with the connector onto the original bar, and then I used this bar, which is the way it's supposed to be, with the hook here through the plastic, and then I joined the 2 here from here. So there is a slight curve in this to line up with this. Okay, so I'll just lock this with my hand, and then yeah, obviously that's done that side as well. Yeah. So I'll just show you with the key. So this is unlock, and then this is locked. Yeah, so obviously make sure you clear for this bit here, which is the bit for the handle. Yeah. Oh wow. So let's just show you something. So unlock. Sorry, that's I didn't try that yesterday. Okay, so new on camera. So if I lock that now, because obviously I pushed the catch in, that's locked. Yeah, and then that side is locked. Now if I do this side with the handle, so I put the keys down, yes, nothing in my hand. So if I do this side and do that, it releases that, which unlocks that and unlocks that side. So that must be the right, that one's the master one, and obviously you can do the same with the key. Cool, that's handy to know. Anyway, so that is central locking, that is electric windows. If any of you guys want any more information, drop a message down the bottom. I will definitely try and help you on that one. I do need to finish installing, so I've left this wire here just tucked through the grid, because obviously the kit for the central locking is mounted on the other side of this. You can tell by here and here. Anyway, I need to run these to the indicators, so obviously you know when it's locked and unlocked. I believe I'm going to run that to the hazard switch rather than just the side repeater, but we'll see. I think the hazard switch will be easier to get to, but yeah, so I'm not worried about that just at the minute. I've left it there, it's for another day. But yeah, new ignition switch all fitted. It does sit a little bit further in than the original one, well, than the other one that was in here, a bit lower, but I'm not fussed. I've got 2 keys, that's the main thing, and the radio. So as you can see, it literally just flops. Now let me just show you something. So tons of keys. Okay, so I'll tell you what, let me get a big climb. Okay, so with the radio, I'll show you what I did in a minute. So ignition is on, indicator on, so BBC Radio 2, yeah. So if I change this, so I think it's that button, so seek, so this is BBC Radio 3. Okay, so you see me change it from 2 to 3. Now if I turn the ignition off and take the key out, they're here, nothing in the ignition. Now just to show you that I have got the wiring all done fine, ignition back on, tuner, BBC Radio 3. Now, if you want to know why I did for that, when I replaced the... Oh, let me get you back on the tripod and talk to you. So, what I did with the ignition live, when I had all the column off, where the new ignition goes on, there's 4 wires to the plug. No idea where it is. I've got the old one here somewhere. So anyway, on the plug, there's 4 wires. I believe it was a black, a brown, a blue, and a red. Okay. So what I ended up tapping into was the blue, but not on the ignition side, on the switch side, but on the opposite side, which goes to from the opposite side of the adapter into the wiring loop. So just use one of those little tapping clips. I think they're like a little blue one. You just pinch them shut. Obviously, a pair of pliers to get through the thick wire, and then you just close the cap on them. And that's what I did, was just tap into that like that. So yeah, that's what I did with that. So if you guys are looking for how to wire that, that's how I did that. So yeah, that's pretty much all the updates. Now I'll just show you around the other side. So that's well unlocked. So yeah, I'll show you on the other side. Show you done the passenger door as well. Okay, so passenger side. So same scenario. I joined it here with a connector. Obviously that's not going anywhere. Enough clearance from this bar here. Join here, and then goes to here, which is, like I said, from the bolt. Just sits just under the bolt, if you know what I mean. And obviously mounted there at a slight angle. Same scenario, but only 2 wires. As I said, it was a slave one. So the passenger door and the 2 rears are only slave solenoids. And obviously the wiring for the electric windows. Same scenario, mounted this down here. Little rubber block here just to stop any banging from metal to metal. But like I said, it doesn't do anything. So yeah, and that's all good. Same scenario here. You can probably see the gap. Definitely can't see the adapters, but you see the longer bolts. But you can definitely see the gap here. So the old one originally came up to the metal. But the only thing you have to do if you do decide to get this kit, so this is the one with the solid black bar, not the two. Now, what you need to do is you need to put the spaces. I should have videoed it. So the 2 black spaces that I taped together. What they need to do is when you put the metal plate on the back for the winder, that you put the metal spaces on top of that, and then you put the bolt through and then into the original window mechanism. Now you have to do that because unless you want to grind out the bit of the plastic on the spacer. But what happens is, well, what I noticed is on the disc on the rear, it's like this. It looks like this with all these holes, so you can actually mount through these bits, but it's only flat on this bit before it gets to the actual mechanism. So the rubber bit is, the spacers are sat on this edge. Now by doing that, it means that you don't need to put any locking screws or the locking washer, which I believe is here somewhere, because obviously by screwing this to the other plate and squeezing them together, it's actually holding the mechanism in place. So yeah, and like I said, it's barely sticking out. So the door card, the time the door card goes on, you should hardly see anything at all. So yeah, that is the and obviously I need to get new ones of these. So if you do decide to run as many wires as I did, so literally all those wires there, plus obviously a new speaker wire through this little one, it doesn't fit, and physically does not go through. So I have actually got some replacement ones of these because these are all hard and brittle. I do have 2 spare ones, original ones, but I found online 2 replacement ones which are going to be nice and soft, and they're slightly wider in size. So the right side's here, but they're slightly wider on this, so they're smaller down, if you know what I mean. So that should be give enough room to replace these, and you can just unplug these, you know what I mean? Unplug these, put the little tool in there just to pop the wires out, and then these are just pushed together like that for the solenoid, for this bit here. And then this one here is the same, it's just connected here. So it all comes off and it can all just be run through, same with the speaker wire, which I've left plenty here for the speakers. But yeah, cool guys. But yeah, what an absolute difference this makes. I mean, it's only a cheap kit, but locked, unlocked. It's so yeah, that's what I've been up to. Oh, to show you this as well. So this is the new filler cap. So the old one, like I said, it had like one of these emergency caps that you push in, which was not cool. Like, you know, you couldn't get it out because you couldn't get your fingers in there, so you had to get a screwdriver in there to like pry it out. And obviously it's got water tap symbol on it. This one here, just unscrew, still a little bit of water in there. Just unscrew, pop it on, like so. So this one is slightly, you can probably see by the line here, it is slightly smaller than the other one. So that is all in. And what I did is actually use polyurethane sealant. So this is the stick tool. So I bedded it on that, pushed it on. You can probably see it around here, which I need to try and get some of it off, but the outside's going to be done, hoping next year. So anyway, I bedded it on that, and then on the inside where the metal cover goes, I took that off, obviously to get the pipe in and everything else. I just filled it up basically around it, so it's all sealed and everything else, so that's all good. But yeah, that is, yeah, that's that. So I've still got to repair the passenger seat. So the tie, I don't know if it was my uncle or if it was the people who owned it beforehand, but on this one it's got the original bolts, the driver's seat, but the passenger one, the bolts are not big enough. I mean, the nut barely covers the hole underneath, if you know, so it could easily be pulled through. So I went and got some of them. That's the job for today. Try and, well, now you guys have seen and I videoed it. I'm going to put the door cards on here, mount the switches, make all that look all pretty and nice again, as much as them plain as boring as they are, but it could always be a future product of spicing them up a little bit, especially when, well, I plan on changing the front seats because they're looking very warm. But yeah, cool guys, I'm hoping you're enjoying this. Yeah, we're going to crack on and yeah, put it all together. See you in a bit. Alright guys, so bit of an update. This will be jumping on from when I was video fitting the central locking and also the electric windows, which are done. I do need to do a little bit of adjustment. Well, I'll phrase this. I would need to do a bit of adjustment on the passenger door. So everything is almost done. The seat's done, solar panel's done, the electrics are done, the mains electrics, so we've had it all plugged in and hooked up, that's all done. All the water pump is all done. So flowing water, obviously when the tank comes in, it does need a new about a metre of pipe, pipe to go from the filler, which I replaced, to the tank. There is a slight little split in it. So yeah, apart from that, just needs the bathroom finishing. So it needs the toilet fitting, toilet's all cleaned, so it just needs that fitting, the pump and everything works on it, it just needs the wire taken from that to the fuse box, and yeah, just sealing up around it, and then obviously the lino for the flooring is there as well. So we've been out in the van a few times, me and the wife and 2 kids. I've got to clean that window because it's my boy's handprints are all over it, but it was good. It was good. A little bit nerve-wracking. Obviously my older boy's got autism, and with the door on the back, with the obviously the catch that you can lift up and down. Was a bit worrying that you might get to it and do it. So yeah, overall she was good. Really enjoyed the drive. Obviously you can see I've got a curtain up here, just obviously separate the cabs to this area. I'll give you a show around in a minute. But so yeah, kids love it, but we've decided that I think we might need a more modern van, mainly for sleeping arrangements. A 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. The bed above cab, obviously got a brand new mattress up there. They're too young to be up there, and I'm too large. I'm too large to be up there, and the missus, she's not really keen on being up quite high. So obviously that, my boy, obviously as you can see, car seat already in. We've decided that the best option would be to part ways with the van, and then obviously someone else could obviously finish the little bits and pieces, which is mostly all done. Obviously I will be removing all my personal possessions, and I say personal possessions, just like the air fryer and the toasters and plates and cups and stuff like that. Obviously my personal bits, and obviously like my personal cushions. But the other cushions, these ones will stay with the van, because obviously they go with the interior. But yeah, I'll give you a shout around, and we'll show you some more. So yeah, that's this is the van. Like I said, it's if you've been watching the whole channel, you've seen it from when I first got it to obviously now, and it is a lovely van. But I think the stress obviously with it, obviously it's affecting my health, my Crohn's. I've been having quite a lot more flare-ups lately, which is never good. And then obviously then long term with my boy and the sleeping arrangements, it wasn't an easy decision. To obviously to make this decision to part ways, obviously with all the time and effort I put into it, and money. There's been a lot of money put into this vehicle. So yeah, it is what it is. The next owner, I'm sure, is going to love this van. Like I said, everything is new. Like I said, we've used it a few times. Obviously haven't slept in it overnight, just obviously with the concerns with the sun, but the sink hasn't been used, obviously, apart from testing for leaks and stuff like that. The hob, obviously testing, make sure it all works and everything else. It does need just sealing around the outside, just around the edge, but yeah, everything works, and it's nice. I mean, obviously the doors could do with a bit of a freshen up, but yes, all carpet, it's all insulated and all new lino, all new trims. Yeah, it is literally a lovely van. But like I said, it's going to be going up for sale. So yeah, have a look. It will be going on Facebook on the Owners Club groups. So if any of you guys are from the group, you'll probably see it on there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm glad that you've enjoyed this journey with us. No doubt, obviously, when we get a more modern van with a sliding door on the side, that obviously I can put a lock switch in, so that way when we're in it, we can lock it, and my boys can't reach it, if you know what I mean, like this one here. So yeah, there probably likely will be another van, a more modern van, a metal van, if you know what I mean, like a proper panel van. So there probably will be some videos on that one as well. So obviously stay subscribed. That will be coming at some point in the new year. Obviously you need to part with this one first. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for this opportunity to do these videos for you, and I hope they've helped you with anything that you come across in yours. With obviously the fitting the central locking, the electric windows, or rebuilding inside. But like I said, if there's any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll reply back to them and give as much information as I can. But cheers, and we'll see you on the next ones. See you later.